The world expects tradition, Spain, Denmark, royalty, protocol, duty. Yet today, everything changes. A love story, hidden for years, now commands the world's attention. Princess Leonor of Spain and Prince Christian of Denmark are no longer heirs in waiting. They are husband and wife. A union of thrones, a collision of hearts, and a story no one saw coming. The bells of Copenhagen ring with a force that shakes centuries of silence. Crowds flood the streets, their cheers echoing across the harbor. From Madrid to Oslo, from London to Washington, millions are glued to screens. Some cheer, some doubt, all watch. For this is not just a wedding. This is history unfolding before our very eyes. Leonor, the future Queen of Spain, walks toward her destiny. Draped in a gown that whispers of Spanish heritage yet glimmers with Danish detail, she embodies two worlds becoming one. Her eyes do not waver. She is calm, determined, yet beneath her composure lies a storm. She knows what this moment means. Not just for her, not just for Christian, but for monarchies, for families, for the very future of Europe. And there he waits, Prince Christian, tall, steadfast, the son of Denmark's crown Prince Frederick and Princess Mary. A man born into expectation but defined by his own quiet strength. His smile softens the air as Leonor approaches. Their eyes meet. The world holds its breath. This is not duty. This is love. And it is undeniable. But how did we get here? How did two heirs from distant kingdoms find themselves walking side by side into the same destiny? The story begins not with pomp or ceremony, but with secrecy. Years ago, behind palace walls, whispers began. Leonor and Christian, friends, confidants, allies in a world that often felt heavy with expectation. Late-night conversations, glances across crowded rooms. Slowly, what began as friendship transformed into something deeper. Something impossible to ignore. Yet theirs was no ordinary love. It was tested, stretched by distance, politics, and the crushing weight of heritage. Spain needed Leonor focused, prepared to rule. Denmark expected Christian to follow in his father's footsteps with quiet precision. Could love survive beneath crowns? Could two young royals risk everything? The answer came in moments the world never saw. Christian flying to Madrid under the guise of diplomatic visits. Leonor slipping away to Denmark during academic breaks. Letters exchanged. Promises whispered. Every secret meeting only made their bond stronger. Still, their love was fragile, threatened by tradition itself. Inside Spain, whispers grew. Some advisors worried. Could Leonor's marriage to a foreign prince fracture loyalty at home? Would Spaniards accept a queen whose husband was Danish? And in Denmark, there were murmurs too. Christian was heir to his own throne. Would he one day sit beside Leonor in Madrid? Would their children inherit not one, but two kingdoms? The tension built for years. And then came the choice. Leonor stood before her parents, King Felipe and Queen Letizia. She declared not just her love, but her resolve. She would not marry for politics. She would not marry for convenience. She would marry Christian. King Felipe, a man torn between his daughter's happiness and the weight of a 1,000-year monarchy, hesitated. Letizia, ever the mother before the queen, stood firm behind Leonor. In Denmark, Christian faced his own test. His father, Crown Prince Frederick, knew the pressures of marrying for love. His mother, Queen Margrethe, nearing the twilight of her reign, understood the gamble. Yet Christian too stood firm. Love, he said, was not a weakness. It was the very strength monarchies needed to survive in the modern world. The families agreed, quietly at first, then publicly. And, now, here we are. The cathedral is alive with light. Candles flicker, illuminating the faces of kings and queens from across Europe. Monarchs, dignitaries, and statesmen sit shoulder to shoulder. Yet for all the grandeur, all eyes are on two figures at the altar. The vows are spoken in Spanish and Danish, their voices steady, their hearts unshaken. When Christian slips the ring onto Leonor's finger, a cheer erupts from the crowd outside. Flags wave furiously in Madrid's Puerta del Sol. In Copenhagen, fireworks begin even before the final blessing. Two nations rejoice. Two nations unite. But beneath the celebration, questions linger. What does this mean for Spain's monarchy? Will Leonor rule with Christian by her side, or will he remain bound to Denmark? Will this union be remembered as the beginning of a stronger Europe, or as a gamble too great to endure? These questions remain unanswered. And perhaps that is what makes this love story so gripping. After the ceremony, the couple steps into the open air. The roar of the crowd is deafening. Leonor, radiant in her veil, clasps Christian's hand tightly. They wave, not as separate heirs, but as one. Behind them, Felipe and Letizia exchange a look of pride and quiet relief. Frederick and Mary smile, their eyes wet with tears. Even Queen Margrethe, stoic as ever, allows herself a rare smile. The procession through Copenhagen begins. Horse-drawn carriages glide past thousands of waving citizens. Roses are thrown. Children cheer. Elderly Danes wipe tears from their eyes. In Madrid, crowds gather outside the royal palace, watching the live broadcast with awe. For many Spaniards, Leonor has grown before their eyes, from a shy princess to a determined woman, now a bride and future queen. And now, she has chosen love. The reception is no less breathtaking. Inside Amalienburg Palace, golden chandeliers sparkle above banquets fit for kings. Speeches are given. King Felipe toasts not just his daughter but the strength of love to transcend borders. Queen Letizia embraces Mary of Denmark, two mothers who guided their children toward courage. Christian rises, his voice firm, declaring his devotion to Leonor, to Spain, to Denmark, to a future built not on fear but on unity. Yet perhaps the most moving moment comes when Leonor herself speaks. She rises, her voice steady, her words simple. Today I marry not just a man, but my friend, my partner, my future. I promise to serve, to lead, and to love, not just Spain, not just Denmark, but the bond that unites us. Her words silence the room. And then, thunderous applause. The night stretches on with music, dance, and joy. Spanish flamenco intertwines with Danish folk songs, cultures blending as effortlessly as the couple who brought them together. The world watches every detail, every stolen glance, every whispered word between the bride and groom. But beyond the glitter, beyond the grandeur, lies the truth. This wedding is not just a spectacle. It is a statement that monarchy, often accused of being rigid and outdated, can still adapt. That duty and love, though often at odds, can find harmony. And that two young royals, born into a world not of their choosing, can choose each other. As the night fades and the couple departs, their future remains unwritten. Will they face challenges? Certainly. Will the weight of two crowns test them? Undoubtedly. But tonight, none of that matters. Tonight, they are simply Leonor and Christian. Husband and wife. A love story for the ages. The bells continue to ring. The crowds continue to cheer. And somewhere, deep in the hearts of those who witnessed it, a belief stirs again, that fairy tales, though rare, are still possible. And this one is only just beginning.